Throughout the history of the world, great teachers have made a lasting impact on the lives, hearts of their students. All of us recall a certain teacher, a very special someone who inspired us to learn and pushed us to grow and to be better. The importance of teachers in society cannot be underestimated. They take on the responsibility of shaping young minds and changing their lives for the better. This program is a tribute to and for teachers and celebrate the special and often heroic role they play in the lives of their students. This program represents some extraordinary men and women whose timeless wisdom echoes the strength, character, and passion of educators all across our district and our great nation. This program is, in our small way, an opportunity to say thank you to those who educate, encourage, empower, and inspire the students of the world, those who take a hand, open a mind, and touch a heart. And at this time, we're pleased to welcome Miss Jaymee Millet to our show. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
She has brought along with her Dr. Nigro, who is the awesome principal at Weatherbee Elementary School. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies, it's always a pleasure for us to be able to record the show because it gives us an opportunity to introduce to our viewing audience, give them just a peek inside some of the lives of the wonderful teachers that we have educating students. In addition, it gives us the opportunity to celebrate teachers and to celebrate teaching. Ms. Millet, please share with our viewers just a little bit about your background for me, please.
Okay, I started my education down in Palm Beach County. That's where I'm from. We didn't move here until about 10 years ago. I went to college down there, an OWL, go FAU.
FAU, yes.
Then I moved up here to St. Lucie County. I've been teaching about 25 years, most of it down there, and most of the time with students with special needs, and that's where my heart really goes out to.
So why did you choose teaching as a profession?
Well, when I was a younger child, I had a little bit of a hard time. I had to actually stay back myself in the 4th grade. So I think like as I grew older, I remember those teachers that helped me, and then that made me want to become a teacher. And I also helped a lot at Sunday school. So then when I was helping out there, all those things combined kind of made me really fall in love with being with kids.
So tell me this. Do you remember some of those persons that might have inspired you along the way, or maybe you're patterning your instruction after them at this time?
Right. Yeah, the ones who made it fun, like making learning fun and making memories with them is the most important thing. The one that you build relationships with. The ones that I actually stayed back with one of my teachers that I loved the best, and so I remember her the most because she just wanted to love us and make it fun, and that's what I think makes a good educator.
Great, great. Dr. Nigro, tell me this. Each day you have an opportunity to visit Ms. Millet's classroom and see the magic happen. Tell me what you see, hear, and feel.
Actually, I've worked with Ms. Millet in 2 separate capacities. When I was the assistant principal at Windmill Point, she was a teacher there, and now she's the ESC push-in teacher at Weatherbee. She is phenomenal with students. We serve a very diverse population at Weatherbee, and she is always advocating for her students. Like she said about the people who have inspired her, she wants to make learning fun. She's always looking for ways to reach those students. They learn in a different capacity than many of our other students, so she's always looking for new innovative ways to work with the students, make sure they're going to be successful, but that it's still a fun learning environment where they're going to be able to just soar and reach new heights.
Describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why those 3.
She is loving because she is always looking for the best in people. She is an advocate for children as well as staff members on our campus. She is the person that will come to me and say, can we try this? Can we try that? People have come to me and asked for ideas because she's creative. And I would say she's a learner. You know, she's always looking to see what she can learn to make her craft even better.
Ms. Millet, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I believe so. Since I was like a young child, I used to like play teacher at my little playhouse I had. So yes, I believe I did.
Cool, cool. So if I was to visit your classroom, tomorrow, what would I see?
Well, I think I have a very organized system. I do this year, I am a push-in teacher, but this is the first year in a while we've had a pull-out ESE class, so I do get the chance to actually have my own room this year too. So I'm very organized, hands-on. I would say I do the same thing every single day with the students I work with. They need that expectation. And I also enjoy technology a lot. I introduce them to the technology, teach them how to use things on the computer that they don't get a chance to use in their regular classroom. I want them to learn how to use the reading skills so the computer can read to them, because many of them are behind. So I want them to have every advantage they can have going forward.
Let's think back. When did you first fall in love with teaching?
I would say probably when I was maybe 10 years old.
Were you playing school?
Yeah, playing school.
Was it with your siblings or was it with your Barbie dolls?
No, it was with the dolls, because my sister and I are 10 years apart, so I didn't have her yet.
So, Dr. Niagara, tell me, what makes Miss Millet the perfect candidate for this honor?
I think because she's extremely well-rounded. She's not just somebody that's going to come in and teach every single day to just get the students the standards that they need and move along. She's going to look at each individual student and see what they need on their level in order to be successful, because St. Lucie County Schools is, each child every day. So it's not just a lump of students in a classroom, it's every individual child, and she really looks for the best in each of them, sees their potential, and pushes them to be the very best.
Ms. Millet, each and every year we come back with a set of goals that we want to make sure come to fruition throughout the course of the year. As a push-in teacher, do you have some specific goals that you want to help your students obtain?
I think so. I want them to learn how to be an advocate for themselves, because generally I've been working with 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So as they grow up, I want them to be able to advocate for the services they're supposed to have as an ESE student, and like I said before, be able to use technology to help them where they are lacking. Like if they can't read something, I want them to learn how to look it up on the computer so it can read it to them. So really just trying to get them to advocate for themselves and be independent as they go into middle school, where they're not going to have as much support as they do in elementary school.
I heard Doc use the word advocate, and then you came back and used the word advocate, which tells me there's a lot of advocating going on your campus. What are you most proud of on your campus that's going on or that you may be involved in?
I like to help out the other teachers as much as possible when they need anything. So if I see I walk into a classroom for push-in and something's happening with a student and I can help that student while they teach the rest of the class, I just like to be helpful so that they know that they can count on me when I come in there. I'm not just there observing. I'm there to be part of the team, part of the classroom, and I'm a teacher in the room along with them.
So tell me, what do you think is the major challenge facing education today?
I would say we already were behind in our population or clientele at our school based on our test scores and everything before. And now with COVID, I would say the students are just that much farther behind. So I feel like catching them up, or the learning gap is even greater than it used to be before. And that's the biggest challenge right now.
So as the teacher of the year, you are the spokesperson and representative for Weatherbee Elementary School, possibly for our school district. We expect for you to advocate for the profession. What's your message?
My message is that teaching is still a great career to choose. I love coming to work every day, and it's important that we remember, yes, they're pushing us from above with these standards, but we're really here. These are children. We're here to be an advocate for them. We're here to listen to them, to support them, and we have to remember they're children first, then they're everything else that we are expected to do. So we need to make that relationship with them, and then you'll see them reach expectations that you have.
Let me leave you with the words of John Blades when he said, teachers are the important link to the future. And it's evident that that's what you're doing, linking students and linking teachers together as you do your work at Weatherbee Elementary. Doc, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
And we're so excited to be able to celebrate you.
All right, thank you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Hello and welcome at this time to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. And I'm excited to have this opportunity to welcome the wonderful Miss Jaquelyn Carroll to the show. Miss Carroll, welcome.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you with us today, and I'm so glad that you brought along with you my dear friend Brooke Wigington, the dynamic principal at Port St. Lucie High. Miss Wigington, welcome.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Great. This Teacher of the Year celebration show is awesome in my mind. It gives us the opportunity to share with our viewing audience the dynamic teachers that we have in St. Lucie County. They represent all of the other teachers, but in addition to that, it gives us a chance to celebrate teaching, to celebrate teachers, to celebrate education with many of our viewers who are tuning in that love education and support what we do. But Mrs. Carroll, introduce yourself so that some of them will get to know just a little bit about you as well, your background for me, please.
Okay, so I am Jaquelyn Carroll, and I grew up in Tampa, and I went to the University of Central Florida for college. Go Knights. Fun fact, my son's middle name is Knight, so we love UCF in my house. I graduated with a degree in exceptional student education, so I did always know I wanted to work with kids with special needs. And my husband and I both got job offers here on the Treasure Coast, and my first teaching job was at Port St. Lucie High School. And I took a couple years off when my kids were little, but otherwise I have been at Port St. Lucie High School my entire teaching career. So we are at about 8 years, I want to say, with both times in between.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Ms. Wigington, would you also introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes, I've been with the county now. This is my 17th year. I have in my 3rd year as principal at Port St. Lucie High School, and previously I was the principal at Hammock K-8 for 4 years.
So, Ms. Carroll, you briefly said in your introduction that you always knew you wanted to work with kids with special needs. Yes. Why do you think that was?
It's a very easy answer. My sister has special needs. My sister's 2 years younger, and she struggled. She struggled throughout school, and I watched her as, you know, the big sister, and I wanted to protect her, and I wanted to help her. And she is amazing. She has a college degree now, and she is working towards being in a law office. She's amazing. And so that experience as a kid, not really knowing how to help her, prompted me to want to do that as a career to help kids like her.
So what's your favorite part of teaching throughout your day?
My favorite part of teaching is the kids, of course. They're amazing. I love when they pop in just in the morning to say, hey. I love when they get engaged in a lesson, when there's that kid who maybe doesn't always tune in, when he lights up and he's like, oh, I love the Odyssey. That's what we're starting to study right now. That is my favorite part, when I really see them engage and grow and just become passionate about what I'm passionate about.
So who inspired you to be a teacher?
So my high school teacher, Miss Gorski, I had her for 2 years. I had her as a freshman and then again as a sophomore. And then I was her student helper my junior and senior years. So I was with her a lot. And so I got to really know her well, and she took me under her wing and really just showed me what it meant to be a good teacher and to really care about your students.
Mrs. Wigington, you have the opportunity to see the magic happen in Mrs. Carroll's room every day. Tell us what you see when you visit.
Well, I'm going to just have to reiterate some of what she said. A lot of those aha moments with our students, they're very engaged. She's very innovative in incorporating technology or things that are important to the students, and it's always creative. I can say every time I'm in there, it's not something, I've never seen something twice in the room. She's always finding new ways to make sure her students continue to learn.
Describe her for me then using 3 adjectives.
Well, one of them would be creative, obviously, and I would almost kind of put that with innovating as well, because she definitely is always looking for something new to engage her students, especially those that might be struggling with concepts. The other one would be optimistic, and that's because despite whatever is going on in her classroom or in the world or anything else, she's always looking for that positive piece of it and looking for the positive outcome, which is just phenomenal. And The last one would be collaborative, and that's because as an ESE teacher, you sometimes have to move in and out of other people's classrooms. You have multiple subjects you're working with. She's always reaching out and working with her peers or assisting or helping.
Mrs. Carroll, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
When did I fall in love with teaching? I would say as a student teacher, I had this amazing mentor, and he showed me, what it meant to really, it was a support facilitation model, and support facilitation gets kind of this weird rap, you don't do quite as much per se, but I was just so amazed to see the connections he had and the impact he had on his students, and that just helped me to fall more in love with a profession I already knew I wanted to be a part of.
Pushing into classrooms, assisting, what do you do to actively engage students?
So this year I am not pushing in, but I have done it quite a few years. So pushing in, actually really, I love that because it allows the core teacher to continue on, and the support teacher can provide that equity. So I did a lot of small group work. We would go to the back of the room and we'd reinforce concepts. We would test separately if we needed to. It's just such an amazing way to collaborate and work together with other teachers to get kids the information they needed and learning and on par with their peers.
Ms. Wigington, what makes Mrs. Carroll the perfect candidate for this honor?
As she said earlier, she's in it for the right reason. She's in it for her students. She's in it to support her peers. She really wants to be one of the best teachers out there. She really is self-driven to want to do well with it. And she's always looking at how she could positively impact our school as well. And so she's just got a very good global perspective as to how she can approach being a teacher and making an impact.
So Mrs. Carroll, knowing that your sister had some special needs and knowing that you wanted to be that type of teacher that Ms. Gorski was as well in that area, what do you find most rewarding?
So for us, it's not test scores because test scores are very difficult for many of my students. So what I find to be the best part of it is when my students can write an essay without anxiety, when they can create a resume and feel confident that they are going to be able to apply to that job, when they can read a passage out loud and feel confident in it, because we really struggle with a lot of our basic skills, and so for them to feel confident that they can be successful is what drives me.
Ms. Wigington, is there anything that we haven't spoken about that you want to tell us about Ms. Carroll?
Well, I think we've spent a lot of time talking about how impactful she is in the classroom, but she's also impactful outside of the classroom. She definitely is very active with our basketball sideline cheer, and that's obviously it's a group of girls who and young men who actually choose to come out. She had a lot of students come out because she is the coach, because she makes such a strong impact in their lives and making that positive, being a positive role model. In addition, she's also part of our technology team. And through our technology team, she's able to support our teachers with our one-to-one initiative, and especially with Canvas, and she leads a lot of our professional developments on campus. So in addition to making such a huge impact with her ESE students, she also helps others outside of the classroom.
Ms. Carroll, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing education today?
That would be equity. We're trying to make sure everyone gets the education that they deserve, right? So we want all of our kids to be on the same page, but getting them there is the hard part, I think. We've gone away from those self-contained classrooms, which is great. We have everyone together, but then on the other hand, are we really providing the equity for everyone? Is everyone getting the education that they deserve? And so ideally, in an ideal world, we would have support models everywhere so that teachers had that extra hand to provide the remediation that they needed. So for me, it's equity.
As the Teacher of the Year at Port St. Lucie High School, go Jags! You are the spokesperson and representative for education there. You'll have an opportunity to speak to the superintendent, to board members, maybe to decision makers, possibly be the teacher of the year for St. Lucie Public Schools. What's your message?
My message is don't underestimate our kids. Know that they can and will do great things if we believe in them and if we help them along the way.
When I think of your background and your reasons for becoming an educator, I find the words of John J. Chapman important when it says, the gift of teaching is a peculiar talent and implies a need and craving in the teacher herself. That need and craving is evident in the work that you do, not only with your students every day, but in the additional things and roles that you play on your campus. Ms. Wigington, thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Ms.
for having
Carroll,
us.
congratulations on your selection.
Thank you.
And we are so excited to be able to celebrate you.
Which planet are we living on? Earth, right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach?
We're all a part of our...
Chances are, you have no
We're
idea.
gonna turn on the lights and everybody look up.
Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
It is our pleasure to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight today the awesome Miss Rasheba Felix, who's the Teacher of the Year at White City Elementary School. Mrs. Felix, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
She's brought along that awesome principal, Miss Alexandria Loudest. Welcome.
Hello.
Ladies, we are always excited to do this show simply because it gives us the opportunity to highlight teachers and to highlight teaching. It gives our viewing audience just a peek into some of the lives of the dynamic people that we have working and training and helping students in our community realize their future. So we're just excited every time we have an opportunity to talk to teachers that represent the teaching field. So Ms. Felix, so that some of our viewers will get just a little peek into who you are, give us a little bit about your background, where you went to school, your major, that kind of information.
Okay, my name is Rasheba Felix. I am a native of the United States Virgin Islands. I started my education at the University of the Virgin Islands located in St. Thomas. I obtained my elementary education, Bachelor's of Arts, and then I pursued my master's degree at the University of Turabo in Puerto Rico, where I majored in English as a second language. I have been teaching for 18 years, I think, give or take. I also have taught kinder, first, second, and third.
And what are you currently teaching?
Third grade math.
Great, great. Ms. Loudest, would you introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I've been in St. Lucie County since 2007. I've been at various schools throughout the county. I graduated from Long Island University with a bachelor's degree in curriculum and instruction, and I have my master's degree from Florida Atlantic University in educational leadership.
So Ms. Felix, let's jump right in. Why did you choose teaching as a profession?
I would like to be very honest with this. Actually, in the beginning of my career, I was not an education major. I started out in the business track. And one day, well, if you ever visit the Virgin Islands, you will see how beautiful it is. And one day,
Been there, love it, yes.
One day, I was sitting outside my business classroom, and I just said to myself, I don't think this is for me. It was just, it felt really tedious and boring. And then I just got like this overwhelming feeling to go next door to education, the Department of Education, and I've never looked back.
Awesome, awesome. So when you think about that change that you had while you were in school and the 18 years that you have been teaching, do you think that there was a teacher along the way that might have inspired you, or maybe that you patterned your daily instruction after?
Definitely, definitely. I would like to say my 5th grade teacher. Every time I think about her and her charm and her dedication and her love, that's it. Charm, dedication, love. And every day she would come in and smile with me. And it made me feel good as a student. And you know, sometimes growing up, I was always the tallest girl in the class. And in 5th grade, tall girls get picked on a little bit. And she would always motivate me. She would always, even though she was stern, I appreciate her discipline. I appreciate her love. Every time she walked in that room, you know you were loved. You know you came to a caring person. And not only academically, but also emotionally. She just exemplifies what a teacher is. And I think with that and along the way, as I move on into the career and move on into the years of teaching, I've met several other teachers who patterned her. And I just started to be like, oh, I could do this, you know? And I think that would be the person I would really say that helped me or made me want to be a teacher because of her love and caringness.
Thank you. Ms. Louders, you have the opportunity to visit Mrs. Felix's class every day. Tell us about what you see when you walk in and how it makes you feel.
Oh, it's been amazing over the last 3 years to see Miss Felix at White City. When I first started there, she was a 1st grade teacher, and she's been with this class. Then she looped with them to 2nd grade, and here she is now with 3rd grade.
Yes.
The engagement in the classroom, they're a family in that classroom. There is always work happening, and there's routines, there's procedures. The kids are excited about math. She is excited about math, and the bonds that they've built over the last 3 years, it's just incredible. It's an incredible feeling. You walk into, it's a family.
Describe her for me then using 3 adjectives and tell me why you chose those 3.
Dedicated. She works round the clock. Her kids are like her own kids. She treats them just like her own kids, and she'll often say that. She's passionate about her increasing student achievement. She's passionate about learning more as a learner herself, and most caring. She cares for all students all the time.
Some of the same ways she described her teacher, her 5th grade teacher. Awesome. So Ms. Felix, think about your day. Tell me, what's the favorite part of teaching?
That's very hard because I have a lot of favorite things about teaching. The first thing that I love about teaching is meeting those kids at the door. I enjoy seeing their faces. I enjoy seeing their smiles. I enjoy the SEL component of our school. That's when we come in the morning and we have community circle. I get to see how they're feeling, and they get to see me outside of being the teacher because I'm funny, and we laugh and we build relationships, and I think that's very important. I also love, I know you said one thing, but I also love when I get to do small grouping with them, because then it allows me to help children at their need, because sometimes in whole group instruction we don't get to see that need, that specific need of a kid. And then I love at the end of the day also when I self-reflect.
When did you first fall in love with teaching?
I would say when I did my internship.
Early
my
on.
Internship. I think I'm addicted to teaching, actually.
Cool.
I come every year just wanting to meet new kids because it's never the same day. So I would say in my internship, because in the Virgin Islands we have master teachers, and my master teacher was my my sub. Like, well, not a sub, but she did her internship with me when I was in 1st grade. So she was my master teacher when it was time for me to get into the classroom. And again, all the qualities that I saw in my 5th grade teacher, I saw in her. The caring, the love, the passion. So I think early in my years of teaching, I know for sure I fell in love at my internship.
Ms. Louders, what makes Mrs. Felix the perfect candidate for this honor?
She is the definition of a teacher of the year. She is committed to not only her students, but the team around her. She motivates adults, she motivates parents. She will give resources to make sure that parents know what to do at home. She's involved in the community, in her own children. She works with our After School 21st Century program. So when you think of a teacher of the year, not only does she have the student achievement results, that SEL piece, the all-around piece, is what Ms. Felix represents.
Ms. Felix, tell me, what do you think, when we think about everything that's happening in the world, what do you think is the greatest challenge facing education today?
Well, over the years, I have seen a decrease in parent involvement. And I'm not saying that the parents are wrong, but it's just basically economics. You have to work 2 jobs to provide. So I feel that component is a little bit lacking, because if you listen to teachers and you hear them, the most thing you hear is, we wish the parents would be more involved. We wish the parents would be more involved. And you have to kind of sometimes be a little bit compassionate, because you don't know, you know what's going on in your house, but you don't know what's going on in their house. And that is one thing that I've seen decrease over the years, parental involvement.
Mrs. Felix, as the 2021-22 Teacher of the Year for White City Elementary School, you are the spokesperson, the representative for the teaching profession. In this role, you will interview and could possibly be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools and or the state of Florida. You'll have a firm opportunity to carry on conversations and speak to decision makers, people about the wonderful profession that we've chosen. What's your message?
My message would be to always remember that education is a lifelong learning process. And we have to remember that we have to continue to grow and learn and adapt.
Well, when I think about you looping first grade to second grade and then the third grade with the same group of kids, and I bet I see the wheels turn and say, well, maybe I'll be in fourth grade with them too. And the way you come, it is evident that you understand the words of William James when he said, the teachers of this country, one might say, have its future in their hands, and you are really holding on to those awesome students in the palm of your hand to make sure that they're prepared for what's to come for them that we know can really be awesome, really be great. Ms. Louders, thank you for joining us. Ms. Felix, thank you so much. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year, and we are so excited to be able to celebrate you.
Thank you.
That's slow. That's slow and blue. Seriously. Okay.
Hello and welcome again, as we are proud to welcome the wonderful Amber Martin, who's the Teacher of the Year over at Oak Hammock K-8 School. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, and I am so excited that you brought along with you the awesome Principal Patty Galloway from Oak Hammock as well. Ms. Galloway, welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies, it's a pleasure for us to do this show every year because it gives us the opportunity to share with our viewing audience some of the best people that we know in St. Lucie County, those persons that represent teaching and teachers. So we're just excited and have this opportunity to share you and your craft with them. By way of introduction, would you please, Ms. Martin, share a little bit about your educational journey background with our viewers?
Sure. I am a product of Palm Beach County Schools, actually, and I attended the magnet program for teaching. So I had the privilege of doing my practicum and some college coursework through high school, and that really cemented what I wanted to do as a teacher. And I served for 6 years in Palm Beach County as a third grade teacher and moved to St. Lucie County 10 years ago. And I have been coaching for 6 years at Oak Hammock.
Great, great. Ms. Galloway, would you please introduce yourself to our audience as well?
Yes, I'm Patty Galloway, currently principal of Oak Hammock K-8. I've been with the district for 23 years and have had the pleasure of serving in multiple capacities as principals of schools and also within the district Human Resources Department.
So, Mrs. Martin, you mentioned the word coaching, and it's something that it's a word that we use in education, but just in case some of our viewers don't know, what's life like in the day of a instructional coach at this level?
Just like being in the classroom, it's different every day based on the needs of the school, what we need, what my teachers might need from me, but it's me providing them ideas and insight and feedback of some best practices or new research that's out there, information that I get from collaborating with the district. And so it's working together with teachers through collaborative planning or coming into their classroom and observing or modeling for them and providing opportunities for each of us to grow and learn from one another.
So in your role as a coach, are you coaching multiple subjects? Are you focusing on math?
I focus mostly on literacy, but there are times where, literacy and reading and writing go all throughout every subject area, and we need it to be successful. So, and having been at Hammock for 10 years, I've developed relationships with teachers, so it doesn't matter the subject area or content or grade level, kindergarten through 8th grade, I work with all the teachers if they need me.
So what's the favorite part of your coaching day?
Honestly, being in the classrooms again.
Where the
I
rubber
miss
meets
it.
the road.
Yes.
Yes, I understand.
Definitely, that interaction with the students, as well as the teachers, but the kids there's just something magical about interacting with them and fun.
Okay, Ms. Galloway, Ms. Martin used the word magical. We saw how she lit up when I asked about the favorite part of the day, and she said the classroom. I said where the rubber meets the road. You get to see that happen every day. What is it like for you when you watch?
Amber she sparkles. And she does, when you talk about magic and you think about Disney and Tinkerbell leaving her dust wherever she goes, that's what Amber is like when she goes through our school. The kids all know Miss Martin. She does a fabulous job in the lunchroom with lunch duty, so she knows all of the children. She is so well known by staff members that they seek her out and just have such high regard for her that she has the ability to really influence so much on our campus.
Describe her then, Ms. Galloway, using 3 adjectives, and explain to us why you chose those 3.
Mm-hmm. So I would think first, transformational. Amber is really a lifelong learner, and she has the ability to take new ideas and transform practices through her influence, and influential is the second word. She influences not only up the chain of command, but down the chain of command. She has influence throughout our campus, and her opinion is sought out by myself, but teachers, and she's highly respected because of that. And I would say energetic is the third one. She has more energy and can produce more than any person that I know. She just runs circles around most people. So she really has a strong impact on a campus. And I think at the district as well, because she is so well respected for her knowledge.
So Mrs. Martin, when you think back, being in a magnet program for teaching and following that career path, is there someone that inspired you, you think, to want to choose education, teaching as a career?
Definitely. My family moved around a lot when I was younger. And, sometimes when you move around a lot and you're younger, you have a hard time fitting in and finding where you're valued. And I had a 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Valerie Vereen Smith at Berkshire Elementary in Palm Beach County, and she really made me feel that dignity and worth as a student, and I really began to bloom and grow under her care. And then when I was in high school, Mrs. Wilkeson was kind of our leader of the magnet program, and she also was just so caring and really cultivated those relationships with me and the other students, and it just made me feel like I want to do that and impart that on others as well.
So although you chose teaching early, when did you actually really truly fall in love with teaching?
I want to say really that first year of teaching. I think we all remember our first year of teaching and those students and just falling into the rhythm of things and having fun with the kids. Like, you can get paid and have fun. Like, this is something that, yeah, I like this. And, there are definitely days where it's hard and it's trying, but the rewarding piece of it sits within your heart and keeps you going.
Ms. Galloway, tell me, please, what makes Ms. Martin the perfect candidate for this honor?
Miss Martin is everything good about teaching, everything that we want to see in schools today. And I think that Miss Martin also has, she has a heart for where we are in education. She's a realist about where the struggles are in education today. She is a champion for equity within schools, and how do we reach that? How she has a voice that is influential enough and caring enough and non-threatening enough that she really can bring about change within education. And she's a change agent, and I think that that's of great value within our schools today.
Okay, Ms. Martin, I'm going to stretch you a little bit at this time. We've done a lot of talking about what you do, but not necessarily about who you are. And I know it could be hard, but I've heard Ms. Galloway tell me why she thinks you're the perfect candidate for this honor. Why do you think you were selected?
I'm a passionate person, and I really enjoy learning and sharing what I learn. I think that element about me at the core is about what coaching is, sharing and cultivating things, kind of like a gardener. And I really like to tend to continuing to grow for myself and blossom and have those times where I'm dormant and I can think and reflect and then blossom again, taking that new knowledge and continuing to change. One of the things I love about education is that it's constantly changing. It's never boring. So taking that and finding new ways to do things and working with others to cultivate, our students and really to help them continue to grow through our collaboration is exciting to me and challenging.
What do you see as the biggest challenge for education today?
I think it is cultivating an inclusive environment that really expresses dignity towards all people to help create success for students and for staff members also. I think it's really important that we collaborate and we seek to understand and listen.
Okay, as Teacher of the Year, you will serve as the spokesperson, a representative for the teaching profession, often having the opportunity to speak to decision makers, parents, many community members. What's your message?
My message is that we need to cultivate a society that really embodies and embraces our differences and seeks to learn and grow from things rather than to divide one another. We want to grow together and be stronger together.
I'll leave you with these words. Ever Garrison said, "A teacher is a compass that activates the magnets of curiosity, knowledge, and wisdom in the pupils." Thank you for doing such a great job of helping to activate those magnets at Hammock. And thank you for the work that you're doing with teachers and with students, making St. Lucie Public Schools just a better place. Ms. Galloway, thank you for sharing the wonderful Amber Martin with us. Thank you for joining us on this show, and congratulations on your selection as a Teacher of the Year. We're proud to celebrate you.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquelyn, and I am your dividend.
And joining us at this time is the wonderful Miss Borsman, who is the awesome Teacher of the Year over at Dan McCarty Middle School. Welcome to our show.
Thank Thank you for having me.
She's brought along my friend, the proud principal of Dan McCarty, Miss Lisa Sullivan.
Thank you for
Welcome.
having me, Dr. Perry.
Sullivan.
Always a pleasure. That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
Always. Dan
yes,
McCarty,
yes, yes.
Soaring Eagles. Great day to be an Eagle.
Yes. Okay, we're going to have Soaring Eagles today. Ms. Borsman, I get excited every time I get an opportunity to speak with a person that is the Teacher of the Year, because it gives us in St. Lucie County an opportunity to share with our viewing community teachers and teaching. We make a major impact to the lives of students and families here, and it's just wonderful to give our viewers just a peek inside to some of the people that are making that difference in our community. So first of all, let me congratulate you on your selection as the Teacher of the Year, but as a way of introduction to our viewers, would you please just give them some of your background?
Yes, my name is Tara Borsman. Originally, I'm from New York, and I'm a career changer. So prior to teaching, I was in the boundless world of hospitality and was able to see a lot of the world through that career. And when I was in a third world country, I began teaching English, which is what I majored in. I just never got an opportunity to do it. And then I've been here at public school in St. Lucie County for 4 years. Prior to that, I was in the private sector, and then before that, I was in Indonesia for 4 years teaching English. So.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Glad you made your way to St. Lucie Public Schools.
Yeah, I am too.
Ms. Sullivan, introduce yourself for our viewers too, please.
I'm Lisa Sullivan, principal at Dan McCarty Middle School. I'm proud to have recruited Tara Borsman to be part of our Eagle team 4 years ago. She is a wonderful asset to our school, and we just love every time I walk into her classroom.
So, Ms. Borsman, why did you choose teaching as your profession at this time?
I've always had this desire to help people, which is probably why I was in the service industry before. But I didn't feel like what I was doing in hospitality was like helping the world go round, if you will. And I just feel like teaching is the one way of really improving our future, and it makes me feel good at the end of the day, just knowing that maybe I made a difference.
So you're teaching English, what grade?
I teach 7th and 8th grade.
7th and 8th grade. So what's your favorite part about that level and that subject?
The students, because they're at this impressionable age, right, where they're still a little bit children, but they're thinking that they're adults, and
very much.
Every day.
Yeah,
Every day.
yeah, every day, and it's just nice to see like them coming to terms with who they are, right? I can see inklings of who they're going to be when they grow up, and yet still hone in on that imaginative, childlike side of them. So it's great. Obviously, it's the students.
So when you think about the work that you do every day, majoring in English, even though you kind of sidestepped, if I may say that, when you reflect back, do you think that there was a teacher that inspired you to even major in English and think about helping people, becoming an educator?
Absolutely. When I was a freshman in high school, there was a teacher who, his name was Mr. Mann, and he filled out this application for me to be a junior ambassador of New York State. And unbeknownst to me or my family, I ended up making it to this interview, and I became junior ambassador of New York State to South Africa. And this was like back in 1995 with apartheid just ending. And it was all because of his belief in me. I would have never, ever picked up a pen and filled out that application if it wasn't for him. So I feel like knowing what he did for me and all the opportunities I've had as a result of that, I want to
pay it forward. God, awesome, awesome. So, Ms. Sullivan, you have an opportunity to see the work that Ms. Borsman does every day. Tell us about what you see when you visit her class.
Every time I go into her room, I'm a little bit more inspired by what she does. She takes everything we give her and just makes it fun. And every meeting we go to, it's positive, it's collaborative, it's what if we try this, what if we do that. There's no boundaries, there's nothing she's afraid to try. And I go with that professionally as well as personally. I don't know if she'll tell you all this, but she has this huge farm where she saves animals as well, all the way out west. I mean, it's like a commune. She brings stuff in, we bring stuff back. We were doing this breakfast club, banana bread went around the room for everybody. She's just this kind, kindred spirit, like you just want to be in her room. Staff as well as students. It's a totally different environment when you walk in there.
So, because you have that opportunity,
I do.
Describe her for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why.
I would have to say kind, just to start with kind. And to me, that's a huge compliment because she's just kind to everybody. She can find something kind to say about everybody. We've had this conversation before. Imaginative and dedicated. That's what I would say, and that's her classroom.
That's her classroom. So when we think about, again, the work that you do every day, sidestepping, I have to go there. When did you first fall in love with teaching?
That's such a great question. My first time I fell in love with teaching was probably when I saw the impact that it made. Because that first year, you don't really see what you're doing until you hear back from your students later on. So it was the impact that I made through my farm and all my rescue misfit animals that I talk about during my social emotional learning circles. One of my students was inspired to go into the vet program, and she still writes to me and is doing great things with that. So it was kind of nice to know that this inspired her, and she's going to do amazing things.
When will you know, or how do you know that you are a success?
I'm not a success every day. I feel like there's this magical moment which I live for every single day in that classroom. And it usually isn't the mess of it all. It's usually when I'm starting something new where everything is just working and it just feels like this hub of clockwork, and all of the students are talking and collaborating and getting along and having ideas, and that's when I feel like it's successful. That's when I'm okay, this is what I planned for, and this is what I want. There's even times where I'm can I please take a picture of this and put it into my book so I can remember this moment? Yeah.
With that thought in mind, tell me what inspires you as an educator?
I am a huge advocate of the social emotional learning circles. And through that, and I've had a diverse teaching experience prior to coming to St. Lucie. And in those learning circles, I realized how much of the world is the same. Right? How much of those basic needs are the same for everybody. And that's kind of what inspires me for each day. I just see it, and this is what you need.
Lived experience comes into play. So, Ms. Sullivan, what makes Tara Borsman the perfect candidate for this honor?
I've thought about that question, Dr. Perry.
Thank you.
And I truly believe she is the ideal candidate for this. And it's not just what she does in the classroom, it's what she does with the students. It's how they feel when she leaves. It's how they feel when they enter her classroom. It's what she brings to not only her classroom, but to her colleagues and to our school center and to that culture. She represents everything we believe in this district, whether it's the whole child, the whole person, the whole community. Her day just doesn't end and she drives out to rescue her animals. She stays and she works with our groups after school, and she goes to community events. She's part of our community as well as our school culture. She's the whole package.
So, Ms. Borsman, there's a lot happening in the world today, happening in education. What do you see as the biggest challenge for education?
I think that we don't yet realize the repercussions from the pandemic. And I think that during that time, there was the silver lining where students realized how grateful they are for school and that structure that comes with it. And I think that we are trying to re-implement that structure. And I think that the other thing that we realized through the pandemic is the importance of relationships. And not just student and teacher relationships, but also our relationships with our students' families and the community. And I believe that one of the things that will change as education goes forward is there'll be more emphasis on building those relationships. It'll be a fundamental part of being a teacher, is how are you going to build relationships?
As the Teacher of the Year, you are the spokesperson, representative for your school, for education. And in this spot, you could possibly be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools. During that time, you would be asked to speak to PTOs or to decision makers. The superintendent may visit. You have a prime opportunity. What's your message?
My message is to remember that it's not just about instruction, that a teacher is more than a textbook, and that it is important to build relationships because the students that are in front of us are our future.
Leave you with these words then. Teachers inspire dreams, shape lives, and give hope for the future. Thank you for doing just that at Dan McCarty Middle School. Ms. Sullivan, thank you for joining us, and congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year. We're so excited to be able to celebrate you.
Thank you so much.
Which planet are we living on? Earth!
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Hello and welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration as we have the wonderful opportunity to welcome Miss Samantha Schroeder to our show. Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year for Rivers Edge. That's awesome. Ms. Schroeder has brought along with her my good friend and the fantastic, proud, wonderful, marvelous principal of Rivers Edge, Ms. Jennifer Ingersoll. Ingersoll, welcome.
Hi, how are you, Dr. Perry?
All is well, all is well. It is so good to see both of you. It is also exciting for us to have this opportunity, Ms. Schroeder, to speak with you because this show actually gives us the opportunity to highlight teaching and teachers. And that's just exciting to us when we take that opportunity to share a little bit about our profession and our employees, our teachers with our community. With that being said, we have many viewers that tune in to find out what's going on in education. So would you briefly give our viewers some of your background, school you attended, what you're currently teaching, how many years, that kind of information?
Well, I am a product of the St. Lucie County education system.
First round of applause.
I grew up in Fort Pierce, so I attended Lawnwood Elementary and then went on to Lincoln Park for middle school and high school. And that fantastic education allowed me many opportunities to further my education. I went to UCF. I was not going for education. I wasn't planning on being a teacher. I was actually planning on becoming a psychologist. I wanted to be a child psychologist because I always wanted to help kids or work with kids. And when I got done, I was like, I'm not going back to school. I'm going back home. So I took a little break. I worked with my parents in construction, and then the market crashed. And last one hired, first one let go. So I happened to get a job at a school, private school in town, and I was like, this is it. This is how I can work with kids every day and make a difference. So from there, I went and did the EPI program at IRSC and got my teaching certificate. And then after I felt comfortable a few years at the private school, I ventured into public school. And I've gone on to get my master's in educational leadership for maybe further down the road. I teach 5th grade at Rivers Edge, ELA, reading and writing. And I think this is my 5th year there.
We are always also excited when we know that some of our students that graduated from here come home to teach and pour in the lives of our students. That's totally awesome. That's one of the reasons why we have the Promise is a Promise, so that those students that have chosen teaching as a career early know that they have a place to come if they want to. Mrs. Ingersoll, would you introduce yourself to our viewers, please?
Hi, yes, I've been with St. Lucie Public Schools for about 16 years. I taught 3rd grade and 5th grade and gifted, and I've just really enjoyed my time here with St. Lucie Public Schools. It's been inspiring, actually, just working with all the professionals we have here in our school district and just learning so much from fellow teachers and educators. It's really a wonderful experience.
So, Ms. Schroeder, you mentioned to us that you initially didn't want to be a teacher. That wasn't your thing, and then you fell in love somewhere along the way. When you think back in the time that you have spent teaching, do you think that there was a teacher along the way that maybe inspires what you do and how you do it today?
Yes, and I didn't really realize how inspiring they were as I was their student. But once I decided to get into education, I would look back and be like, that's the kind of teacher I want to be. That's the kind of teacher, like those are the kind of connections and relationships I want to build, and that's the kind of classroom I want. And that really came from quite a few of my teachers at Lincoln Park in high school and middle school.
So what's your favorite part of teaching 5th grade ELA?
5th grade is a gambit of emotions and challenges and struggles, but also so many so many wonderful opportunities to make connections. I really enjoy working in small groups or one-on-one to not only learn about my students, but to like really be able to see them grow, to like be able to acknowledge that a month ago you couldn't do this, but now look at what you can do. Look at how far you've come. So that is my favorite part, is really working one-on-one.
So if I spoke with some of your students, what would they tell me life was like in Ms. Schroeder's 5th grade classroom?
They would probably say you never know what you're going to expect. You know, I like to have fun. I like to sing. I like to find ways to get them inspired and to stay interested, because we know, you know, we're working with students who, when they're not at school, are probably spending a lot of time on electronics, video games, phones. So it's really hard to keep them engaged in a book or writing an essay. So whatever I can do to get them interested, I'll do it.
Ms. Ingersoll, you get to watch this magic happen every day. Tell me what you see, hear, and feel when you walk into Ms. Schroeder's 5th grade class.
She speaks exactly how she teaches. When she talks about connections, I think that's really one of the things that stands out. She is able to talk individually with all of her students about personal goals, about maybe parts of the text that they find interesting. And I think that's really what sets the tone of her classes. I know you, I care about you, I care about your education, we're gonna work on this together. And that's loud and proud in her room.
Describe her for me, please, using 3 adjectives, and tell me why.
I would say Ms. Schroeder is super caring. Like I said, that need, a desire to know her students as an individual because she cares about them. She's very organized, which she is able to do in that 90-minute block, transitioning from whole group to small group to individualized instruction. That's because she's a great planner, very structured and organized. And then I think probably the other thing that really stands out is she just has a huge heart. You know, whether it's her kids or other kids in the grade group, you know, she really works to have relationships with the students who are in the 5th grade. Like I said, whether they're her students or not, she really just shines with how much she cares about them.
So, Ms. Schroeder, originally in construction, wanting to be a child psychologist, but in education, and things blossomed. When did you first fall in love with teaching?
So when I first went into like an educational setting, I was working with infants and toddlers. And although it was a fantastic experience, but not really where I needed to be, I moved into a upper elementary classroom, mixed grades, and being able to inspire children with literature was the most exciting thing I got to do as a job when I got that opportunity. You know, to introduce kids to Harry Potter or The Lightning Thief, just these books that like the story jump off the page, and then you really see these kids turn into readers, hopefully lifelong readers.
So what inspires you today as an educator?
What inspires me today is knowing when I meet that kid in August, how far they are going to come in June. You know, to look at their first writing sample and be scared and go, oh no, and then go back in the spring and be like, look at what you're doing. Look how far you've come. That inspires me. And it's not instant, but you always hope that it's coming because that's like the real payoff.
Okay. Ms. Ingersoll, what makes Ms. Schroeder the perfect candidate for this honor?
She really does epitomize what we look for in a teacher at River's Edge. You know, we've been known as the school with a heart of gold for really since its inception. And so that is the first thing that we really want to show to our students and to our families, just that we care about them. But we care about them with a purpose. We care about them because, as she's talked about, because we know we can teach you and we can impact your life. And so what we can teach you about reading and math and social studies and science, it's going to make a difference for your whole life. And that sort of passion is
Ms. Schroeder through and through.
Ms. Schroeder, with everything that's going on today, tell me, what is it that you think is the biggest challenge for education?
The biggest challenge right now is kind of not knowing the extent of what everybody's going through, what these families are going through, what situations they're facing. You know, when a kid shows up and they're in a bad mood, you know, immediately not over jumping to conclusion and getting upset with them, but trying to take a second and figure out, well, did something happen? You know, and then with whatever they are dealing with, trying to help overcome that, give them the support in the classroom, help them to achieve the learning goals that they still need to by the end of the year, while still trying to support them with their like emotional needs that a lot of families are facing during these difficult times.
As Teacher of the Year for River's Edge, you would be the representative, the spokesperson, let's say, for education, for educators, could possibly be the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public and the state of Florida. What's your message?
My message is that connection and relationships and compassion are really the most important part of education. We can't teach, or we can't be successful as teachers if our kids aren't feeling connected to us, or they don't feel like we care about them, because they might not feel like anybody's caring about them at all. So what do they care? They need somebody, some adult, to show them that they care about them, so they're willing to work hard for themselves and to make a difference in their own lives.
Leave you with these words. Teaching is not a profession, it's a passion. Thank you for exhibiting your passion to those wonderful students at River's Edge every day, showing your real heart of gold. In addition to that, Ms. Ingersoll, thank you for joining us today. And we just are excited to have this opportunity to share. Congratulations on your selection as a Teacher of the Year.
Thank you very much.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
We're excited to welcome to our show at this time the awesome Miss Andrea Sides, who's the fantastic Teacher of the Year over at Morningside Elementary School. Mrs. Sides, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you. We love having this opportunity to celebrate teachers. I'm so glad that you also brought along with you our great friend, Miss Kathleen Melrose, the dynamic principal at Morningside. Welcome, Ms. Melrose.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here again.
We love doing this show because it gives us the chance to celebrate teaching and teachers. But so that our viewing audience will have an opportunity to know a little bit more about you, briefly introduce yourself for us, please.
I'm Andrea Sides. The kids call me Coach Sides. I started teaching in St. Lucie County in 2005. I've taught at various levels. I've taught second grade, third grade, VPK, and also at the college level. I've been at Morningside for 5 years, and I've been teaching PE there now for 3. I absolutely love PE. I feel like it's the perfect position for me because it combines my love for education and teaching and my love for fitness.
Awesome. Ms. Melrose, would you also introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. Kathleen Melrose, this is my 5th year at Morningside Elementary, home of the Blue Jays. And we are an incredible family at Morningside, and I'm just excited to still be there.
Coach, why did you choose teaching as a profession?
Well, I was inspired by many people, but the person that probably had the biggest impact in my life is my grandmother. My Grandma Ann lives in a very small town in Iowa, Dyersville, Iowa, and I would go visit her every single year. And anytime we left the house, somebody would stop her in the grocery store, at the park, in the downtown area, and they would tell her about the impact that she made in their lives or another family member's life. And I remember from a very young age knowing that I wanted to make an impact and help other people in some capacity. And it wasn't until later on in life that I realized that teaching would be the way I would make my impact too.
So have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No, I always have known that I wanted to help, but it wasn't until I would say high school. In high school, I was a camp counselor, and I thought that was just the greatest job, being surrounded by the kids and also getting paid for it. And I started thinking, you know, working with kids in education, I know that would be the career that would probably bring me the most happiness.
So what's the most exciting part of your day?
I would say igniting the flame. There's a quote that I really love. It's by William Butler Yeats. The quote is, "Education is not filling the pail, but igniting the flame." And to me, that's the most exciting part, to see the kids get excited. And whatever the kids are excited about, fueling it, that has to be the best part.
So Mrs. Melrose, you have the opportunity to see Coach at work every day.
I do.
When you visit, what is it that you see, hear, and feel?
What you feel stands out the most. When she talks about igniting that flame, she does it, and she does it so well. Coach Sides has this unique calmness about her, but brings about this incredible energy with the kids. She captivates them. You see smiles and kids engaged and loving the class so much with what they're doing each and every day with her. She reaches every child in her PE class. Sometimes kids have a really tough day during the day, but when they get to PE, they're able to shine, and she makes sure that she brings it out in each and every child that she's with each and every day. She's definitely full of life and full of passion, and you feel that as soon as you walk out onto that field or onto the courts. And truly, when you go out there, you want to participate, and I always do.
You do.
You just can't help yourself. You just want to jump in and do what they're doing, and that's because of the way she leads that class.
Mrs. Melrose, define Coach Sides for me then using 3 adjectives and tell me why.
First and foremost is passionate. When you hear her talk about her PE class and how she wants to bring that together with other areas of the curriculum and education, she does that. She really believes that she makes a difference in her PE class, and she truly does. In addition to passionate, I would say energetic. Like I said, she's got this calm about her, but is full of life and full of energy, and what she can jam pack into a 45-minute resource class is pretty impressive. And finally, I want to say that she is encouraging. And what I mean by that is that she's so motivating and inspiring to all of the children that she meets each and every day. And she does inspire them to be successful, whether in their academic classes or in PE. She makes sure that they find a spark, something that makes them feel that they're being successful.
So, Coach, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I would say during my student internship. Once I decided to pursue teaching, there was a tiny little bit of fear that what if I don't like it? Because I had, at the time, never been in the classroom leading it in the teacher role. And here I had invested years in getting my degree. But the second I stepped into my student internship position, I made connections with those kids. I had a great mentor, and I knew then that this is the perfect career for me, and I'm very passionate about it.
So with everything that's going on in the world, what drives you? What's your fuel?
I am fueled. Well, I am a PE coach, so what I teach my kids is that a good, healthy diet is going to fuel them. But I'm also fueled by, like I said, igniting the flame and seeing success. I get so excited to see those kids reach their goals. And I teach K to 5. So when I get those little kindergartners stumbling over the soccer balls, and then watching them progress to playing soccer games, it's incredible.
Mrs. Melrose, what makes Coach Sides the perfect candidate for this honor?
Coach Sides is the perfect candidate because of how she looks at the whole child and the whole school. Sometimes when you think of a resource, you think that they're isolated and they're just focused on that one resource that they're doing. That's not Coach Sides. Coach Sides is focused on the whole school and the whole child and each and every child. Her commitment to her PE class, but her commitment to the school is what makes her stand out.
Coach, when will you know that you have been a success?
When my students are a success. When I see those kids meeting their goals, which I see day to day, I feel successful. But I also am looking for the long-term success, to see how they're progressing through the years. And ultimately, my goal is for them to love physical fitness and make it a healthy habit in their life for their lifetime. That is my ultimate hope, and that's when I would feel most successful.
Again, with everything that's surrounding us and surrounding the work that we do, what do you consider to be the biggest challenge facing education today?
So I would say the biggest challenge today is I would say getting through this pandemic. It's extremely challenging in many ways. And I know that I'm making a difference because when the kids come to my class, I'm not only meeting their physical, teaching them in fitness and hitting all those standards in physical education, but we're also going over checking in on them. How are they doing? And just really teaching the whole child. And with PE, it reduces anxiety, it reduces stress, and I think it just is a way to not only help them physically, but it also helps their mental health as well.
Your selection as the Teacher of the Year automatically makes you the ambassador, the spokesperson, the representative for the teaching profession. You have an opportunity to speak with the school board members, the superintendent, the decision makers. What would be your message?
I would say approach everything with a positive attitude. And I remind kids every day that they can do hard things. And when they come to my class, I am their biggest cheerleader. And I think that if you approach every day with a positive attitude, you're going to make big changes.
Leave you with these words. A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. And that's exactly what I'm sure you're doing every day with your students. Melrose, thank you for joining us. Coach, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year. And we are excited to have this opportunity to celebrate you.
Thank you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
We're excited to welcome to our show at this time the awesome Mr. Derek Faria, who's the awesome Teacher of the Year over at Savanna Ridge Elementary School. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for the invite.
He's brought along the proud principal of Savanna Ridge with him, Mr. Roberto Bonsignor. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're pleased to have this opportunity, as I like to tell everyone, to speak with you because it gives us a chance to talk about, to our viewers, teaching and teachers, talk about education and the wonderful system that we have here with St. Lucie Public Schools. Right. But Mr. Faria, so that our viewers will get to know just a little more about you, give us some information about your background, please.
Yes, sir. How you doing? I'm originally from Massachusetts. I'm a father of 3. I entered the education field in my 30s. I absolutely love the profession here in St. Lucie County Public Schools. Everything is going very well for myself in the education field. I take my job serious. I'm a veteran of the Armed Forces.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, sir. And I definitely want to make a difference in lives of students, and I have great relationship with my colleagues.
Awesome. Mr. Bonsignor, would you introduce yourself for our viewers?
Yes, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic via New York, raised in New York, and I ended up in Florida where I did my master's degree at the University of Miami. I've been in St. Lucie County since 2008, and now this has been my home.
So, Mr. Faria.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what grade you teach.
Currently, I'm an ESE teacher, grades 3 through 5.
3 through 5. Okay.
Yes. That's my current position. I am support facilitation, where I enter the classrooms and support general ed teachers with their curriculum. Also work on IEP goals and help wherever needed. I'm there for all aspects.
So tell me, why did you choose teaching as a profession?
I chose teaching as a profession because of my dad. My dad was a teacher for 35 years. I followed a lot of his footsteps. He was in Vietnam War as a United States Marine Corps veteran, and I followed the same path that he did, pretty much. I got into it a little bit later than he did, but something that I'm very proud of, and that's why I chose teaching. He was my influence at the time. I was in the public school system at a very young age as a child, going to all open houses, seeing the whole scene. I was in New Bedford, Massachusetts. He taught at a very low economic community. The families were struggling, and I was able to witness the difference he made in children's lives.
So tell me, what's your favorite part of the job that you do?
Making a difference, seeing results. I love to produce results. I love to see the children thrive. I love to see them grow and prosper. I take my job serious. I do things outside of work. Weekends are busy at times, but that's what I really enjoy. I love to see the growth of a child.
You told us that you patterned yourself after your father and he was an inspiration. Tell us a little bit more about that inspiration and if there were other teachers that you think might have inspired the work that you're doing now.
Yes, he set a great example. He was a role model for many children that didn't have a father figure in their life. So I decided to go that direction. I feel like I can provide, especially grades 3 through 5, give those students the male figure that many need, whether it's male or female students. I make a difference in their lives each day and make an impact. And that's what really led me to this decision of becoming a teacher, to really be a true role model in society.
Mr. Bonsignor, you have the opportunity to watch Mr. Faria work with students every day. Tell us about what you see, what you hear, what you feel when you see him doing his work.
Well, as he mentioned, he's ESE teacher and he pushes in. But when you go into the classroom and you see him in there, you don't see him as such. You might get confused and think there are two teachers there, and it's really some co-teaching going on, because he at times also does many lessons in the class and takes over the class, so that he's well respected by the students. So I see a lot of respect, a lot of focus and his direction toward the students he services and any students in the classroom that may need services. And when he is in his room with small groups, I see the same high engagement and also a lot of higher order thinking questions being posed and very constructive conversations.
So describe him for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why you chose those 3.
Passionate, because he speaks from the heart when he speaks about his children, and when you witness that in meetings with parents and IEP meetings, for example. So that passion is authentic. So authenticity is another part of his character. He is unique, he is a genuine, and also committed. He is very committed to what he does, and you see it in his work and in the children that he works with and how they gravitate toward him.
Mr. Faria, when we look at everything around us and what's happening, what inspires you to go back and do the work each and every day?
Seeing that light bulb go on in a child, seeing that when they finally clicks and making that difference, grabbing that the concept of a certain task that they're doing on. I really enjoy digging deep with them, especially in the ESE field, using manipulatives with them, giving them differentiated lessons, providing them the instruction necessary for them to succeed. So that keeps me going each and every day. We all know it's a busy job. I put my full effort into it, and I always have an open door policy with the students. They know whether they can come and see me, and I do have students that regularly visit me within my classroom to help them with any issue necessary. They know I'm available for them.
So again, when we look around and you told us that you came into the field a little later because of your armed service, when will you say you first fell in love with teaching?
I would say it was on my mind for years because of my dad, but in my early 30s is when I really wanted to make that step. My college degree in my early 30s because I was in the military, and I started my college experience a little later in life. But I was also ready for college at that point. Not that I'm saying I wasn't earlier, but I felt like I had more to offer within myself through my experience of the military, through my experience of working with my family, and we had a business. I felt like I was in a better position to become a more effective teacher at that point than at an early age.
Mr. Bonsignor, what makes Mr. Faria the perfect candidate for this honor?
Well, he is the true epitome of a teacher. Late bloomer, as he mentioned, I could relate to that, but that makes it even more unique because he got into it with the passion, not just to get a degree, but with a focus and determination. And he represents not only the teacher that really supports the ESE population, the children with special needs, but all populations, because he has been in that role. So he's able to, I would call him a jack of all trades. He's able to fit in into those roles because in working in different zones, he's worked at FK Suite, he's worked at a K-8 school, and now he's at Savannah Ridge where he kind of found his home, his niche.
So welcome home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Mr. Faria,
yes, sir.
When we look at the world today and everything that we're having to deal with, what do you see as the greatest challenge facing education today?
The greatest challenge for education, obviously, what I see and I observe is, number one, is a budget. Money can always be an issue with education. That's number one. Number two, the greatest challenge is students, the children come from difficult situations at home. I've been in situations where I've helped children, very poor backgrounds that needed my prior experience of assisting children with difficult situations, struggling situations with home and family life. I was in an after-school program where I assisted with hygiene. I had a culinary program. I had a physical education program, and different aspects. So I see the struggles that children go through, and I see the struggles that parents go through at home. And that can carry into the school. So I am there to make a difference. I am there to be there for them at all times.
So when we think about your role and your selection as the Teacher of the Year at Savannah Ridge, you automatically become the ambassador, the spokesperson, the representative for education. In that role, you're going to be forced to have to speak to many different people about our profession. What's your message?
I am truly blessed to be in my position. I take my job seriously. I do not take it for granted. I will tell the public that we all our teachers work very hard. We make the strongest effort we can. We offer classrooms full of positivity, love, care, and also discipline. It's very important to tie all those together. I will let the public know that there's no better job than what I am doing right now. And this is why I'm in it, because it's the future of our generation.
Thank you, Mr. Faria. I'm going to leave you with the words of a Japanese proverb that says, "Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Thank you for being that for the wonderful students that you're working with over at Savannah Ridge. Mr. Bonsignor, thank you for joining us and sharing Mr. Faria with us. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year, and we are excited to have this opportunity to celebrate you.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the invite. Thank you.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
It's our pleasure to welcome to our show at this time the wonderful Mr. Christopher Calvo, who's the dynamic, wonderful, awesome Teacher of the Year over at Westgate K-8 School. Mr. Calvo, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good to have you as well. And we're so excited that you brought along with you our great friend, the proud principal of Westgate, Mr. Jason Martin. Mr. Martin, welcome.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
We're honored to have both of you. Mr. Calvo, we do this show every year. But it's really an opportunity for us to share with all of our many viewers some of the great teachers that we have in St. Lucie County. We get excited, as I like to tell everyone, about doing the show because it also gives us the chance to highlight teaching and teachers, and we know how important education is to our community, to our society. So it gives us the opportunity to celebrate the work that we do in the profession that we've chosen. With that, I'm going to ask that if you would, please introduce yourself to our viewers so that they'll know a little more about who the awesome Mr. Christopher Calvo is.
All right, I'm Christopher Calvo, graduate of Florida Atlantic University, K through 6 certification. I teach 5th grade science at Westgate K through 8, and there is absolutely no other job that I want to do right now other than where I'm at right now in my teaching career with that 5th grade science. I absolutely love it.
Great, totally awesome. Mr. Martin, please introduce yourself.
I am Jason Martin. I'm the very fortunate principal of Westgate. I just came in here this past July, but prior to that, I was a principal, an assistant principal in the district for 3 years, and I come from upstate. Up north from New York. I was a principal up there for a number of years, but just excited to be here and be part of this process. It's awesome.
It's a wonderful process, and again, we're excited to have both of you as we share with education. So tell us, Mr. Calvo, why did you choose teaching as a profession?
All right, well, I've always worked with kids. I mean, ever since I was in elementary school, I actually started working in camps as a CIT in training. I ran some camps. Before I started teaching, I was the education coordinator at the Hibiscus Children's Center. And then I kind of just decided, hey, you know, I need to get into that teaching career. And I've been teaching for 11 years, and I just absolutely love it. Love just watching that spark in the kids' eyes when they finally understand something or see something new, and it's just, I absolutely love it.
So since you love it, tell us, what's your favorite part of teaching?
My favorite part of teaching? Well, I mean, just dealing, I know it's cliche, dealing with the kids. I love just being in front of them and teaching something and being science. It's so much, there's so many new things that they don't understand with space or how the world works. And when you show them something and they just go, wait, what? Wow, that's crazy. That's amazing. How does that happen? And then just seeing that spark in their eyes, seeing them just falling in love with something because of something that I'm doing, there's nothing better than that.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes. Yeah. And actually, I first wanted to be an astronaut, but that didn't happen.
Never too late.
Yeah, right? But everyone wants to be an astronaut. Yeah, I just, I mean, ever since, like a kid, my mom would actually always say, you need to do something with kids. You need to do something with kids. And I just always knew that this is where I was going to end up, and this is where I'm supposed to be in life. And I know that 100% that this is what I'm supposed to be.
When you think about your career as a teacher and the decision that you made, reflecting, do you think that there's a teacher that inspired you or inspires how you approach your work?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I fortunately had some great teachers growing up. One that sticks out is my 7th and 8th grade math teacher, Miss Marlene Natali. She was just a phenomenal teacher. She taught, but the way that she taught, you would go into class and she was just so engaging. She was funny, she was cracking jokes, she was singing, she was running around, and that's what I based my teaching on. I remember waking up, doing my other classes, but when I was headed to that math class, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to math, and I'm ready. I'm ready to just be entertained and to learn. She wanted me, she made me want to learn and do good for her.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ms. Natali.
Yeah, you're watching.
It's good when we celebrate those teachers that made an impact on us. So, Mr. Martin, you have the opportunity to see the awesome Mr. Christopher Calvo in action every day. When you visit the class, what do you see here? How does it make you feel?
Well, listen, you know, his energy that he brings right here is honest, and that's what happens in the classroom. And the kids are, you know, they're leaning forward, they're asking questions, and they're not afraid to voice opinions or talk or say things. And that's really critical, especially in a science classroom where you want kids to be inquisitive and inquire about things and not feel fear of what question they might ask or anything like that in a science classroom. And so that's what's just my takeaway from when he's with his kids. They're just inquisitive, they want to ask questions, they're not afraid to ask any type of question, and I don't know what more you really want to, you know, from a 5th grader in a science classroom. So it's awesome. There's noise, which is okay, because they're having fun. Mr. Calvo understands that it's okay to be silly with kids. You know, we work in an elementary school, and we have to be that and embrace that part of young kids. So it's awesome to be in his classroom, and it's awesome to see how he interacts with his kids.
Define Mr. Calvo for me using 3 adjectives and explain to us why those 3. I know.
Yeah, just 3.
Yeah, just 3. You could do it.
Yeah. All right, so, well, one, he's effective. You know, the numbers don't lie. Historically, he shows that as silly and as fun and beloved and all that stuff is, at the end of the day, if you're not effective, then, you know, we're not doing our job fully. And if you are up for the Teacher of the Year, I would expect that you have both of those sides. There's an art to teaching, and he does it quite well, and he's effective. So I would go with that one. The second one is he's a risk taker. In the building, in the classroom, depending on the theme or the topic that he has going on, he's going to animate and he's going to dress up and he's going to come in, and I hear about it usually through the kids, and then I got to make my way over and see what is going on over there. But even on the event, on the days that we have events and things going on, I have to think about what costume or wardrobe I'm going to wear, because I know he's going to do it and do it big. And so, you know, so the reason why I say that is because he's not afraid to do things that are going to engage his students, and to really pull them into whatever it is he's trying to teach. And then the last thing is he's calculated. You know, I mean, so with all the madness and the you know, again, the silliness, there's strategy there, because he's clearly effective, as I stated. And you can't be effective and silly without there being some kind of strategy involved and calculated. So those are the 3 words that I'll use to describe Calvo. There's many more, but those are the first 3 that popped in my head.
Wonderful. Risk taker, effective, calculated. So, Mr. Risk Taker, calculated, one, and effective Calvo, what inspires you as an educator?
Oh, man. There's so many different things. I guess what would inspire me as an educator is just being there for the kids. I think is what inspires me the most. In today's society, we have, you know, everybody's working, everybody's just so busy and caught up in their lives that we forget just to be children again. And I make sure that when they come into my classroom that they know that I'm here for them, that they know that I care about them, they know that I love them. Yeah, you know, we're all about, you know, the data and all that stuff, but what I inspire to be as a teacher is to make sure that the kids are safe, make sure that the kids know what's going on. If they have a problem, They know that I'm approachable. And that's the teacher that I want to be, that I always inspired to be, is to be there for them, and that they know that.
Tell me, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing education today?
Biggest challenge, technology. Technology, I mean, is great, and also, bad as well. So knowing when to use that in your classroom, when to allow the kids to use that, that seems to be a big challenge. And as I stated previously, another big challenge is today with both parents working, both parents maybe not home when the children come home. That's a big challenge for the kids and the teachers as well, knowing that a lot of kids don't have the support at home to continue with their education. So what I like to do, I always I use the Remind app, and what I like to do is send little messages to the parents. Hey, we did this today. Why don't you ask your kid about it? Or there's a great lineup of planets today. Go outside, sit outside with your child, look at those planets, watch them moving across the sky. I would say that the biggest challenge is just that the home life, the home life today. It's different from when we were growing up.
So, Mr. Martin, what makes Mr. Calvo the perfect candidate for this honor?
So, midway through first quarter, I had to make some changes that were going to move some 5th grade kids around. I was going to move quite a few of them. And across the board, every single kid and parent strongly suggested that I don't move them from Mr. Calvo. And they have multiple teachers, but the #1 teacher that they were most afraid of missing or not having on their schedule was Mr. Calvo. He impacts the entire building. His presence impacts the entire building, and I'm continuing to learn why. Every event that we have, he's front and center, he's doing something, he's got something planned. I know whatever we have coming up next, he's already thinking about it. And so he's not just in the classroom, he's out at parent pickup, he's out, he comes and swings by in lunch, and he's just doing things to let the kids know, I'm here for you. And so all the things that he said is honest. And for me, being in a K through 8, he knows, he's had the students since they were in 5th grade. So he knows half the building, and so that's powerful stuff. So he impacts a lot of people. And the adults seek him out as well. I mean, everyone speaks very highly of him. So
Mr. Calvo, because you have been described as effective, risk taker, calculated, you impact the entire building. I've heard the word passionate come, and I specifically ask for those adjectives from your awesome principal. But I'm going to ask you to tell me some qualities, just a few, that you think make up a dynamic teacher.
Well, actually, I involve my kids a lot in what's going on in my life, and I ask the kids, what makes me a good teacher? Why do you enjoy coming to my class? And I always get, well, you're so funny. You make learning fun. Another child said, well, when you read out of the textbook, you take some stuff out of the textbook, but you elaborate on it. You give us so much more than what they're asking. Just taking things to the next level, I guess, which is actually a quote from one of my students. You take it to the next level, whether if it's dressing up as we have Cowboy Calvo, and he teaches rocks and everything. He's got a little accent. We're going to be digging some rocks today, and we have Professor Hypothesis, who is kind of like an Einstein type guy, and he's crazy and quirky, and he's doing experiments with the kids, and he usually messes up on the experiments, and they laugh, and just I'd say I'm pretty engaging. I would probably say engaging is my best quality.
Mr. Calvo, as the Teacher of the Year for Westgate K-8, you are automatically the ambassador, the spokesperson, the representative. Have an opportunity to share with your colleagues, with the superintendent, board members, many decision makers. What would be your message?
Well, I always say, try not to sweat the small stuff. There's a lot of that, political stuff and all that, and I try not to focus on a lot of that. I say, go out there, have fun. Remember why you became a teacher. Remember, why you're doing this. Remember that it's for the children, not for all that other stuff. Just go there, do what you do, teach, be there for them, and everything will just kind of fall into place. Hopefully. Hopefully.
I'll leave you with the words of Nelson Mandela when he said, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. Thank you for changing the world one student at a time at Westgate. Mr. Martin, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing Mr. Calvo with us. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to have this chance to celebrate you and introduce you to all of our viewers.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Joining us at this time is the awesome Miss Kennithia Williams, who's the Teacher of the Year over at St. Lucie Elementary School. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
She's joined by the wonderful principal there, Miss Kathy Potenza. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Dr. Perry.
As I like to tell everyone when we get started, we get excited about doing this show every year because it gives us the chance to highlight teaching and teachers. We know that we make a major impact on our community, on students, so it gives us a chance to share with many of our viewers some of the wonderful people that we have working with us. With that being said, Mrs. Williams, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers to give them just a peek inside of who you are?
Yes, sir. My name is Kennithia Williams, and I am an ESC teacher at St. Lucie Elementary. I'm doing self-contained 3 through 5. I've been teaching 4 years, and I started here at St. Lucie Elementary it was assistant principal at that time, but Principal Potenza. And I came into education right after the military. I served 20 years in the Navy and then went to school in Virginia Beach, ECPI, and then came into education.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Ms. Potenza, would you introduce yourself as well?
Sure, absolutely. I'm the proud principal at St. Lucie Elementary. This is my first year as principal, and I'm very proud to work with teachers like Kennithia Williams that are so dedicated to our students. I came to St. Lucie County 4 years ago and haven't looked back since.
Thank you. So let's start by asking, why did you choose teaching as a profession, especially after being in military?
Yes, sir. I chose teaching because that's something I've always done since I was a kid. My dad told me that he knew when I grew up I would be a teacher. Because when I was younger, I was out there, teaching my little cousins. While serving in the military, I volunteered with teaching at the schools. And then even after high school, I used to volunteer at CA Moore for after-school programs. So that is just something I love and has always been in me.
So you said after high school you volunteered at CA Moore. Are you a product of St. Lucie Public Schools?
Yes, sir, I am. I was a product of Westwood.
Oh. Once a Panther?
Always a Panther, yes, sir.
Yes. We see that excites us as well when we find out that there is a teacher in our district that actually graduated school here and is coming back home to pour into our students. So thank you for that as well. I just got excited again.
I was there when you were there.
Yeah,
you were a band major. Yes, I was being a part of your marching band at the time.
Yes,
sir.
So tell me this, what's your favorite part of teaching?
My favorite part of teaching is just seeing the excitement on the students' face when they get something.
Okay, okay. So when you think about your time as a student in St. Lucie Public Schools, reflecting back, do you think that there's a teacher that inspired you along the way in the work that you're doing every day?
Yes, my mother.
Your mother?
She's also in education. She's a teacher.
Okay, okay. And what does she teach?
She's also an ESC teacher, and she's at Central,
Okay.
Central High School.
Following the mom's footsteps.
Yes, sir.
Miss Potenza, you get to watch the magic happen every day.
Absolutely.
So give us a peek inside the classroom of Kennithia Williams when you visit.
Absolutely. So Kennithia started with us at St. Lucie Elementary as a permanent sub. She filled a position, and she filled it graciously and with dedication, and took on some of our most challenging students. And this year, at the end of last year, I approached Kennithia knowing that she had a background in ESC, and we had an opening in our self-contained unit, and I thought she was the perfect candidate to fill that. You walk into her classroom and you wouldn't know that it's a self-contained unit. She treats her students just as if they were general education students. She challenges them. She inspires them. She makes learning engaging and fun every single day in her classroom. She's collegial with her team. And it's just really a pleasure to walk into her classroom. Her classroom is a model for all teachers at St. Lucie Elementary.
Ms. Williams,
Yes, sir.
when will you know that you are a success?
When my students are a success. When my students graduate and they're feeling that excitement like I did it, that's when I know I'm successful, when my students succeed.
When did you first fall in love with teaching?
I fell in love with teaching, like I said, when I was a child. I've always worked with children, and I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And I was at the teen center when I would go after school from Westwood, Miss Monroe. She wanted to give me a full ride scholarship, and she was like, "You'd be the best teacher." And at that time, I wanted to still explore, so I joined the military. But that's when I first fell in love with teaching, is right at the teen center in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Cool, cool. Wonderful names that you're mentioning, wonderful names. Ms. Potenza, tell me this. 3 adjectives that describe Ms. Williams, and tell us why those 3.
I'm going to say dedicated, impactful, and collegial. I would say that those are adjectives that describe Kennithia. Dedicated, she gives 200% every single day. There's never a day that goes by that instruction is not on point. That her passion and her dedication for her students, and as I said, she works with some of our most needy students and some challenging behaviors and some challenging cognitive disabilities that our students come with, and it never stops her. Impactful, she's making such a difference in the lives of students that many other adults would have written off. She challenges them. She ensures that learning is taking place so that they can, as Kennithia just mentioned, go out into the world and be a success. Her students deserve it as much as any other students. And then collegial. Any time that I've worked with Kennithia, she started out in a 5th grade classroom and then took on the challenge of teaching our kindergarten students. And she's always come to collaborative plannings with resources for her team. She works well with others and really just takes on the mission and the vision of our school for all students' success.
So, Ms. Williams, I asked Ms. Potenza to give us 3 adjectives that describe you, but I'm going to ask you to give us 2 or 3 adjectives that you think describe or make up a great teacher.
Yes, sir. I think passion, drive, and you have to love it.
Oh.
Because we will have our challenges, but your love for that job will overcome those challenges any day, and it's well worth it. So definitely passion, and you have to love it.
So what inspires you to be an educator every day?
My kids. I absolutely love coming to school to be with my kids. They really make my day, you know.
Ms. Potenza, tell me why you think Ms. Williams is the perfect candidate for this honor.
I think Kennithia is inspiring change in others. We need more teachers like Kennithia. That, as she said, even on challenging days, even on struggling days, she always makes it about the students. And that's the most important part about education. I went into education 27 years ago to make a difference in the lives of students. And that's what she does every single day. She's an inspiration to her colleagues. She's an inspiration to her ESC team. And she's truly an inspiration to the parents of her students and the students that she serves.
So, Ms. Williams, you've been at St. Lucie Elementary for 4 years.
Yes, sir.
In that time, you've had 2 dynamic principals there, started out as a long-term sub and have kind of moved and been a lifeline at the school. What are you most proud of being an employee at St. Lucie Elementary?
I'm proud of the St. Lucie Elementary family because we are truly, truly a family there, and each of us look out for each other. And I found my forever home there. I really have.
Oh, that's totally awesome. Forever home.
Sir.
I love that. I love that.
Sir.
So, what do you consider to be one of the biggest challenges facing education today?
The biggest challenges facing education today, I would say maybe the state exams, because we do have a lot that we're up against, but I know we can overcome those challenges. And especially since the COVID hit, and a lot of students had to stay home. So coming back from that is something that we can definitely overcome, but that is one of our challenges that we're facing now.
As the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Elementary, you automatically become their spokesperson, their representative, the ambassador for the profession. In that role, parents may visit and superintendent may visit, and of course we'll highlight the fantastic Teacher of the Year. You always have a message. What's going to be your message to them?
My message to the superintendent and to parents that come here, we're the best school. We're number one. We love our kids. We're dedicated to our kids. We go above and beyond to make sure that our kids are successful in everything that they do, and to know that they're loved and they're supported.
Well, let me leave you with these words. A teacher is like a candle. She consumes itself to light the way for others. And that's exactly what you're doing over at St. Lucie Elementary, lighting the way for others. Ms. Potenza, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Williams, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you, Dr. Perry.
We are so happy to be able to celebrate you and congratulate you on this selection.
Thank you so much.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.